I'm Drew.
And I'm Tony.
And this is Back for Our Future, a show that goes kind of back into our future. Well, mostly back into our future, maybe yours. And we look at that to maybe juxtapose it against the future now, which I guess is the present. But it would have been the future back then. Anyway, doesn't matter. Tony, welcome back to the show. Not like I say welcome back to the show. I'm just saying welcome back to these people to the show. And then some spaces, Tony.
I get it. We're always, we're both always back on the show.
Somebody put up a post the other day that says, "Where is Backstreet actually coming from? If they're coming back from somewhere, where were they?"
Right.
Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's our buddy Dale Boyd of Dale Boyd Sports Management and Baseball Cards.
Of course, it would be him who would do that. I mean, we are, we're going back for our future.
Right. I get it.
So we constantly go back and forth. And
right.
If you listen to the show, you know this.
Yeah, that's true. So. All right. Well, today we're doing, we've got a little bit of a retrospective. That's what we're going to call it because we've had far too many sad episodes. We're calling this a retrospective, and we're going to look at the life and careers of a few actors that have recently passed away. But we're going to talk about a few of those. We got a nice segment that's worth teasing. We're going to give you our hot takes on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Controversial as always.
We do music. And makes sense that we do that.
Yeah. No, I think it's fine. I think this show is whatever we want it to be. We just have very good producing from you to get together. So without further ado, let's jump in. I assume we're going to start with good old Bobby Duvall.
We are starting with good old Bobby Duvall. Yeah, I mean, some of these episodes are kind of what they are, right? I mean, when somebody passes away, it's always sad. But I mean, we go from just absolutely tragic on some of these guys, like we ended with James Vanderbeek, last episode. And, Robert Duvall is kind of the opposite end of that, right? I mean, he got to live his whole life. He was 95 years old. He had his full career. He got to do everything. He's done it all. He's won every award there is. He's experienced everything. So it's like, it's easy to get to celebrate his career, you can be sad, but it's also, he's 95 years old and he lived a great life. But that man's been acting since 1960.
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at his IMDb and I was like, and just going through it, it's like good gravy. You scroll to the bottom to get to the start to see where he was. And you're like, okay, that's a banger. It's just like one after another. This guy's been in a lot of legendary content. Some of which, when we get there, we start talking about those. A couple of my, I wouldn't call them top tens, but they're in my lifetime supported movies. Like they're stuff that mean a lot to me, and he's in some of those. So which is kind of crazy. So
yeah, do you have any Robert Duvall movies out that jump out just off the top of your head?
Oh, dude, bangers back to back. So I am a humongous, so much so that we copied it in a commercial campaign. I'm a huge fan of Gone in 60 Seconds, like him and Nick Cage's version. Love them in that movie. Think it's fantastic. Love Bobby Duvall in that movie. He's got some of my favorite little delivery quips. That whole cast is good, but Bobby's great. But dude, one of my jams, I'm not going to say Godfather. You know that, right? That's never coming out of my mouth.
No, it's not. I know it's not. It's not a movie you like.
It's not. But I also deeply love him in Open Range, which is in my Western. If they do a Mount Rushmore of Westerns, he's one of the characters that just lives up there. I love him in that movie so much, and that movie's fantastic. Falling Down's a banger. There's a lot. The Apostle's a really good movie. It's heavy, but that's a really good movie. Let me see if there's anything more modern that I'm scrolling to make sure I don't miss the big ones. I liked him in The Judge. That was a good movie.
Days of Thunder, modern.
Yeah.
Film that he's terrific in, of course.
Yeah. I mean, rubbing is racing. You can't get away from it. So,
I think the first thing I ever noticed him in back as a little kid, besides obviously The Godfather, but when I was watching TV, he was on a and this was very early in his career. He was on an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents,
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
called Bad Actor, which is he's not a bad actor, but that's the name of that episode. And it's quite good. So it's probably something. It's something. Alfred Hitchcock Presents is something that's out there because it's on like MeTV, and you can find Alfred Hitchcock Presents. So I'd check that out. It was a great episode, and he's really good on it. And he does a lot of television, and then he really kind of gets his first big movie role in 1962 when he does To Kill a Mockingbird. He plays Boo Radley.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's first his first big role, and then he's one of those guys, man. He just he kept bouncing back and forth. He's done a lot of TV. He's done The Fugitive and The Outer Limits and a lot of that stuff, man. And I mean, it's pretty impressive how he would bounce back and forth from movies to TV, movies to TV. It's not something you see a big actor do these days, and he was kind of that big character actor, even doing like a lot of sci-fi stuff. Like he was in the Time Tunnel for a few episodes, and
Yep.
and stuff of that nature, and the Wild Wild West, and I mean, just lots of TV, man. And of course, he's gonna in 1968 he's gonna be in Bullet, which he's great in,
Yeah, which is a classic.
which
Yep.
is a film, of course. And then he's in a movie. It's one of my dad's favorites.
Oh, yeah. It's a western.
He's Ned Pepper in True Grit.
Yeah, which is.
Yeah,
Well, look, I don't dislike the remake. I think the remake's fine for what it
yeah,
is, but the original True Grit is gold. It is
yeah.
100%. It's cinema gold. It's one of my favorite. It's another. That's why he's in my Rushmore list. But like that movie as a western is just classic as it gets.
No doubt. And then, of course, he's in a movie that's going to launch arguably the biggest television show in the history of TV, which he's in the movie MASH.
Right.
Which is going to be a big movie, and then it's going to be a massive TV series. So, yeah, so that's pretty awesome. And then in 1972, he's in a movie. He's going to be up for an Oscar for it. Drew Hall doesn't see it until like I don't even know what year you watched this, but it's only been in like the last several years you've seen it.
40 something years later. 40 years later.
The movie Drew finally watches The Godfather and doesn't like it.
I don't care for it.
Doesn't care for it. It's one of the greatest films that's ever been made. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
In fairness, I love the way it's shot. I love Gordon Wexler. He's one of my favorite DPs of all time. I appreciate his work. I just don't enjoy that movie. It's not because of the cinematography. It's just not my thing. It's just
Let me
not.
tell you how much I like this movie. I got a pretty good story. So several years back, when Patrick for the Chiefs quarterback, and he was like in his first big year. Was in I mean he was drafted in 2017, but doesn't play that year. His first big year is 2018, and in 2018 they're going to get all the way to the AFC Championship game, and they're gonna lose because D Ford's offsides on an interception. So they should have beat the Patriots, but they didn't, and so Patriots end up going to the Super Bowl, and they faced the Los Angeles Rams, who got there because they hit a Saints player late, and that didn't get called. So the damn Super Bowl should have been the Chiefs versus the Saints, but it wasn't. That would have been my two favorite teams. It ends up being the Patriots and Rams, and I decided not to watch it at all. I just decided not to watch it at all. So I decided to go to the movie theaters on that day and watch like 3 or 4 movies, one of which happened to be, and they were showing it on that Sunday, was The Godfather
Amazing.
in its original form. And I just, of course, the movie came out in 1972, so I never got to see it in theaters, and I mean, I'm only 33 years old, so I never got to see that movie in theaters. You know what I mean? and so basically, I got to see it in theaters. I was I was I was amazed. It's such a classic film, and I love every actor in it, and Duvall's amazing in it. And so yeah, The Godfather is I'm not gonna bore you with it too much more because I know it's not a film you like. It's okay.
Well, in fairness, it is a 9.2 on IMDb. It's like one of the highest rated movies I've ever seen on IMDb, and their bullshit rating system. But yeah,
Yeah, because everybody would just get on IMDb and give it a 1 just because they can, you know.
yeah,
So the fact that everyone's given it another grade is pretty impressive. It's like the only thing that's brought us together as people is Godfather.
except for me, I'm an outlier. I'm an outlier.
I don't think. I mean, it's not like you hate the movie. You just it's not a movie that you didn't like it as much as other people.
No. I just won't. I just won't ever watch any more of it
Right.
ever, or listen to live. It's on that level.
Live may not be making any more albums or touring anymore as live after what came out. We'll see what
I know. I
happens.
saw that, and thank God.
You're a lot of fun, man. You know that? Good guy.
listen. If you guys don't know, there Richard, guest of the show, fan of the show, used to be my friend. Decided he wanted to no longer be my friend. That's what he decided, and he started defending live. So I just need him to know. I need to know where we stand as friends. He made that very clear, and I'm just reiterating my point to him.
He likes to start a lot of crap. You can't. He likes to start a lot of. He's got a big mouth. He likes to start a lot of garbage. He does it all the time. He's been doing it my whole life. I mean, he's a good guy.
Heel.
Yeah,
he's a heel, bro.
Like a foil, dude. He's just like, he likes to jump in there and just be a disturber, and that's okay. And that's okay. I love him. I love him. I love him. But
he's the Eddie Guerrero of friendships.
Yeah, he's he's great. He's great 1 minute, and then he'll hit you with a chair the next. You can't trust that guy. You can't trust him.
That's what happens when you're on the show. You got to live up to the big burden. All right, Bobby Duvall. We'll get back where we were.
So the outfit, the conversation, Godfather Part 2. Have you even seen Godfather Part 2?
I watched like 3 minutes, and I knew that it was no better than Godfather 1.
Enough of you. Okay, and of course, the movie Network, which is amazing, by the way.
Network's a really good movie. Yeah,
amazing. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, of course, the Betsy, and he's got of course 1979. You can't talk about Robert Duvall without talking about Apocalypse Now, because he's got one of the greatest lines in the history of film in the movie.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
it's a good movie.
The classic napalm line. So it's like it's a classic, and so that's the Great Santini, classic.
Yeah.
True Confession.
Natural. Yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to skip you.
No, before we get to that though, because in 1983, he does the movie. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it before, but Tender Mercies.
Never seen it.
Which is a movie my grandfather liked a lot. My grandpa George loved Tender Mercies. Thought he really enjoyed that film. I saw this movie because of him. So yeah, I mean it's a classic. He's going to win his only Oscar because of it. He's nominated.
Oh, wow.
He's nominated several times, but he wins for this, and he's really good in it. So that's a movie to check out because I'm not sure who's all seen it. Of course, The Natural in 1984. The Natural is one of the greatest sports movies of all time. So
absolutely,
we've talked about that one. We talked about that one when we got to Robert Redford. So that was another good one. In 1986, he does this movie. And the only reason I'm really mentioning it is because I've worked with a few of the people in it, and it's called Bellazzar the Cajun. And
I haven't heard of it.
Right, well, you never heard of it, but you did work with the lead actor from it, because it's not Robert Duvall, it's Armand Assante.
Oh yes,
right. So you and I both worked with Armand Assante, and then this movie is directed by a guy that I would work with before you and I worked with Armand Assante. I went to Natchitoches, Louisiana, and I worked with a director named Glenn Petrie on a movie called The Scoundrel's Wife in
Oh
my
yeah.
in my first year of film. And it starred Tatum O'Neal and Tim Curry and Julian Sands and Lacey Chabert and Ian Bailey. It's a very good movie. But Glenn Petrie directed that film. He's a very, very nice man. Wonderful director. And he did Bellazzar the Cajun. So
Okay. That's
thought
cool.
pretty cool, and loved Armand as well. Then he does Colors in 1988. Huge miniseries,
Classic.
Lonesome Dove. Classic.
Yeah, listen, Lonesome Dove was such a huge miniseries. It came on 4 or 6 VHS tapes.
Yeah, it did. It did. It had four big parts to it, and so it was. They used to release, for people who don't know, they used to release these VHSs like in one box sometimes, but it would be like this massive box. So it'd be like 4 VHSs in a huge box. It was
Yeah.
it was kind of funny. So they used to do it like that, and yeah, that was one of those that did have that. When you saw this movie at your local video store, it was a it was a massive box. You could throw it at someone's head and kill them.
Yeah. It was a brick for sure.
And of course, Days of Thunder in 1990
Classic.
is one of those movies that kind of reintroduced him, I think, to audiences as well, because he had Lonesome Dove, and he back to like kind of like a TV thing, and then all of a sudden he's in this huge Tom Cruise blockbuster, which I think was kind of reintroduced him to a different audience in a lot of ways. And then he's in Newsies, which of course
Oh yeah.
is Christian Bale classic, and he's got some great movies in the '90s here. Of course, Falling Down, which to this day, every day I live on this planet, I understand this more and more. Every second I'm alive, I understand this movie more and more and more. Like I watched 1993. I thought it was amazing in 1993, but at the time I'm like 17 years old, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
not? I'm 7 or whatever year I am in night when I'm 33, whatever it is. So 1993, whatever age I am at this point, I don't know. And here's the thing: like now, at the age of 30, what am I? 33?
33 is
32 years old. I'm understanding it a lot more. Makes a lot more sense.
it is
So that's
very true.
pretty good. Geronimo, an American Legend.
Yeah.
Duvall, an American Legend, in a movie called An American Legend. It makes sense to me.
It works. It works.
Wrestling Ernest Hemingway.
That's a good wrestling movie.
It's a great wrestling movie, right? It's a top tier wrestling movie. Expect nothing less of you than to say that was a wrestling movie. Expect nothing less than Drew Hall say that's a wrestling movie. He's in a good one in 1994 with Michael Keaton, The Paper.
Yep.
It's a great film.
And we just talked about that. We just had a nice little conversation about it.
Did just talk about that film, and it is a good one though. He's in Something to Talk About.
Yep.
He's in The Scarlet Letter, which is a movie he's going to actually be up for a Razzie for.
Right.
It wasn't a very popular film. He did A Family Thing, and then he did a great Travolta movie, Phenomenon, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Of course, he's in Sling Blade, and he's in a lot of great '90s movies, man. The Apostle is a classic, and The True Red Man, Deep Impact, Civil Action, Gone in 60 Seconds. It's a good one. The Sixth Day with Arnold, of course.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I think it's great. John Q.
Another great banger.
John Q. We haven't gotten to it yet, but you and I will see this one together in theaters.
Yep.
Now, Now here's an interesting one. In 2002, he does a movie called Assassination Tango, which he's in it with his wife, and it's kind of a cool movie. So my mom, my parents and I and everybody in my family has gone to New York a ton. We used to live up in the area, so my dad does business up there, and they go to New York quite a bit. But one of the years back in 2002 when this movie came out, my mom would go. She used to go on these TV shows all the time, like whatever daytime talk show was around at the time. I think this might have been Carolyn Ray at the time. I think she had the
Okay.
show then, and my mom was on a bunch of them. She did a whole bunch of them, and so she was in the audience, and Robert Duvall was on the show.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And so she got to see him on the show, and they gave out, like swag. They give out all these shows give out swag, different stuff to the studio audience. And one of the things they gave out was an Assassination Tango compact disc, a CD, for the soundtrack. And so I still have that to this day from that
That's
movie.
sick.
It's pretty
That's
cool.
great.
Yeah, I mean that's a fun movie. It's not something that a lot of people have seen, so check that one out for sure. And then Gods and Generals, he plays Robert E. Lee.
Yep.
Open Range, which was obviously we talked about, that's a classic. Um, he's in Secondhand Lions, and then he does. Man,
Yeah.
this is a this next one's a great one. I know you love it. Kicking and
Yep.
Screaming
Absolutely.
is is probably one of the best Will Ferrell movies that no
It
one
has the
talks.
coffee gag. It has the
Yeah,
coffee gag,
coffee
which is the
gag.
coffee gag is like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, dude, it's got Mike Ditka. It's got a whole bunch of shenanigans. It's phenomenal. It's it's one of Will Ferrell's best films that really doesn't get mentioned. And
Right.
yeah, it's for sure. Thank You for Smoking is another great one, and then he's got Lucky You. We Own the Night, which is a movie I liked. I know you weren't a
Yep.
huge fan of the night, but I love this Christmas movie that he's in, Four Christmases,
Yep.
which I think is a classic. He's in The Road, which is a very good movie. Uh, Crazy Heart, obviously a good one. Jack Reacher,
Yep. Another classic.
which is a good one. The Judge, which he's great in. Uh, our buddy, Jared Jones, early in his career, will work with him in a movie called In Dubious Battle that
That's
gets
right.
shot in Atlanta and directed by James Franco.
Right.
And he's in this movie. And then he does Widows, which is good. Hustle, and then he closes out with The Pale Blue Eye. So Robert Duvall, legend, and you can see by that just a living.
One other note that often gets overlooked, but if you're a Star Wars fan, it's worth noting. Star Wars doesn't happen without Robert Duvall, because Robert Duvall is in THX 1138, which is George Lucas's first theatrical. I believe it's his first, because then after that's whatever, American, not Splendor, but whatever it is. If he doesn't do THX and doesn't contribute to that film, then we potentially don't get Star Wars. So again, Robert Duvall tying him all the way back to, for me, one of the most legendary, or my favorite franchises or movies in the world. And so we don't even get there without him. So again, another piece of gold.
That's what legends do. They inspire other things. So
It's truth.
influence other artists, and that's what he did. And he's a legend for a reason. And like I said, you can hear that catalog, and we just went over some of it, by the way.
Right.
It's got movies in there, and
Yeah.
I implore you to just go back and look at his credits and his catalog and check out a lot of his films, because he doesn't act. He never has a poor performance, really.
Nope. He's a classic.
So we get to our next gentleman, who unfortunately passed away, Tom Noonan.
Yep.
And Tom Noonan, for people that aren't really kind of up on his career, was really great at playing these quirky, very odd villains.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guy's been acting since he was acting since 1980, and I mean, he's in some really good stuff. Um, he's a gangster in the movie Gloria, which is a really good movie. Back in 1980, he does a movie back in 1980 called Heaven's Gate, which is
Oh yeah.
kind of noted for being a flop
Yep.
at the box office, but it's actually quite a good movie if people give it a chance. It's a very long film. That's the problem,
Right.
but but a very good one, no doubt. Uh, he's in Eddie Macon's Run, which is a movie I really enjoyed back in 1983, and he's in Easy Money,
Yeah. Classic.
which is great.
Yep.
He's in Best Defense, and then he's in The Man with One Red Shoe, and an
Well, Steve
episode
Martin.
of Dark Side.
Yeah.
So, and then he's in a movie that I absolutely love, that happened in 1986, which is my brother was born, called FX.
Oh yeah. Launches Brian Brown's career as far as I'm concerned.
Amazing movie.
Yeah.
Brian Brown, Brian Dennehy will have a sequel, FX2, later on, but he's quite good in that. And then he does a movie where he plays Francis Dollarhide in Manhunter.
Yeah. True.
And talk about a really odd performance. If
Right.
you see a very odd performance from a great actor, this is the film.
Yeah.
Michael Mann. It's a Hannibal Lecter. It's the Hannibal Lecter. It's part of the Hannibal Lecter franchise of films, right? And so he's not a Hannibal Lecter, but he's Francis Dollarhide, who is like the villain in this movie, and it's pitting him against William Peterson.
Yeah.
And man, is it good! It's
Yeah. It's a great movie.
It's a movie that I'm sure a lot of people have not seen or haven't visited in a very long time. And I did actually watch it maybe a handful of months back or so, several months back, and back last year. And man, it's just I love that movie so much.
And it's one of isn't it one of his first features? Isn't is it one of his first movies? It is, isn't it?
Tom
Michael
Newman?
Mann, that is? No, Michael Mann.
Michael Mann, yes, but no, it is. It is, and it's weird because it's part of this Hannibal Lecter franchise, and obviously different people will play him in different at different times. But yeah, it's a good one, no doubt. And then he plays Frankenstein's monster in the Monster Squad.
Yeah, which is a classic.
Great, which he's great in that. And then he's in a movie in 1989 that I really liked. I didn't see it in theaters. It's a quirky comedy. It's a buddy cop movie. It's really silly in a lot of places. It's a far more rental by the time I see it, but it's called Collision Course, and it's got Pat Morita and Jay Leno.
I remember that movie now that you say that.
And
yes,
and it's quirky in all the right ways. It's just a fun movie, and it's not going to end up on anybody's top list. But I watched it. I've watched it several times over the years, and I really do like it. So here's a movie we've mentioned before, and Richard and I saw this one together. RoboCop 2.
Yep.
Which I like.
Yeah. And RoboCop 2 is great.
Yeah.
3, it's questionable, but 2 is good.
3, I saw with my brother.
Yeah.
And then in 1993,
Mm-hmm.
going to play the Ripper. And he's also going to play himself.
Right.
In Last Action Hero. And again, a very quirky, crazy character. And when I first saw this movie, I love this movie the more times I watch it.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those movies. When I first saw it, it was trailered wrong because they teased it. They did a trailer. It always had the great soundtrack, but they trailered it as this like amazing action movie, and that's not what this film is. So when you're watching it, when I watched it for the first time at midnight in 1993 at the theater, I was like, man, this is not great. And then of course I understood what was happening here, and I really do like the film over the course of many years.
It's a classic. I think I've told the story before when we covered it about my dad doing the
Yeah,
whole "Are you Jack Slater?"
yeah,
And he thought he was getting an Arnold action movie too, and he ended up getting this spoofy comedy. So we both left a little disappointed. But if you go watch it now, it's actually a really good movie for this podcast because it's you go watch it now and you have a little bit, maybe you're a little more informed on film knowledge, and you go see it. It's pretty well made, tongue in cheek business.
it
So
is.
it's good.
No,
It's really good.
he directs a movie after that, and stars in it. It's called What Happened Was. And I do, if you can find this film, and it's not going to be simple, but if you can find this film, it's literally two actors playing off of each other. It's two actors.
Wow.
And when I say there's two actors in the movie, I mean there are two actors in the movie. It's not two
Right.
actors that are the main actors and a bunch of other people. There are two actors in this film, and they play off of each other, and you literally watch their relationship deteriorate before your eyes.
Oh,
It,
incredible.
it's quite an incredible film and a very interesting thespian piece. And I would really highly recommend it if people can find it. It's not going to be easy to find, but if you can, that's a movie you should get. Of course, he's in Heat
Yep.
because by this
No,
point, he's a fan favorite.
yep.
So and then he does some TV, and he's in The Astronaut's Wife, which is cool. He's in a movie I liked in 2001 called Knockaround Guys
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember the movie. I just remember it.
with Vin Diesel, one of Vin Diesel's early films with Barry Pepper.
That's
He's
right.
in Eight Legged Freaks.
That's a fun movie. I can't watch it because I hate spiders.
No, absolutely. And he's just got a lot of that kind of stuff, and uh, he does a lot of TV, and he's on a TV series called Damages,
Yep.
which was quite a good series. It was on for a while, and he does a couple stints on the Blacklist, which is quite good, and he does a TV series called Hell on Wheels,
Which is
as-
fantastic.
which
Anson
is
Mount. It is so good.
fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. And he's in another TV series I really enjoyed, 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, that
As
was a good. I like the series better than the movie. Just I just like the idea better.
And that kind of closes him. That kind of closes his career. I mean, he hadn't been acting for the last several years, so but he's really one of those guys, man. He's like this really quirky villain in a lot of movies, and just can do that stuff so well. And it's a niche. It's a niche, man, and it's something that not everyone can do.
Yeah. No. He's the thing about Tom Noonan is he's one of those guys. There was a really good documentary, again, probably hard to find. I think I saw it years ago on Amazon. It's like, I know that guy or something like that. It's some title like that. And it's all about the character actors that you don't know their names, but you've seen them in so much stuff. I don't know if Tom's in that or not, but like he's one of those guys. Like, you know his face, you may not know his name.
Right. No, absolutely. And then of course, like around the next day or so, we lose Eric Dane,
Yeah.
who wasn't as prominent in the 90s, but definitely had a lot of big roles. TV wise, I was never big, like, I've never really got into Grey's Anatomy. It's been on for like
Yeah.
22 seasons or something
Yep.
crazy now,
Yep.
but still on. And
Yep.
I mean, he had been off the show for like 10, 11 years before he passed away. It's still going.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And he'd been on it for like 8 years, something like that.
What? Well, he also like he was on that, and that show exists. But you another show that was really well made was a film or a TV show called The Last Ship, and
Yeah, the last ship is
I
amazing.
it is amazing, and I adored him on that show. I love the idea of it. It's kind of really creepy now because it has to do with the pandemic, and then things occur after post pandemic life. But really good show. Kind of sci-fi, lots of action, excellent thing. And I think that when I saw that, I was like, man, I literally just started rewatching it maybe a month ago, and it's one of those shows that I'll just, if I'm going to the gym or I just need something to watch, I'll turn it on and enjoy it because I've already seen it. But like I was bummed with any of these guys passing, but like that guy, I was literally spending time with him in my living room. Like he
Yeah.
was in my living room recently, and now, so it's one of those like, dang, it was a bummer. It was a super bummer.
His first 3 credits in his career, starting in 1991. His first 3 credits. It doesn't get any more. It doesn't get any more 90s than this, bro.
Dude, this is wild. I didn't even see this.
Saved by the Bell.
Yep.
Okay, he is hit in the face with a volleyball by Leah Remini when they're in their beach episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's in that. She's in that show just for that one
Yep.
episode, but he's there. He's in an episode of a show you and I liked called Renegade
With Lorenzo Lamas.
with Lorenzo Lamas. Yes,
Yeah.
we talk
Yeah.
about this all the time. And then he's in maybe my favorite show, one of my all-time favorite shows. He's in the Wonder Years.
Yep. Yep.
All-time favorite shows. I own it on. I have it the whole. I have the whole collection. I have the whole box set with all the stuff and the signed items and everything else. I got that for Christmas one year. Amazing. He's in Married with Children.
Wow.
He's in Silk Stockings.
That was a very popular show. I didn't
It
care for it, but I remember it.
But do you remember? I mean, do you remember ever turning on USA and not seeing a promo for that show?
Yeah, dude, it was huge.
Silk
It
Stockings.
was,
I'd actually work with the lead from Silk Stockings years later. Brian and I would. Um, but yeah, pretty awesome. He's in Roseanne.
yeah.
I mean, doesn't get any more '90s than these. It just doesn't.
No. No.
And then of course he has a big. And this is again like I didn't really watch this show a lot. I've seen episodes of it, but not really a show that I really got into. Was Charmed. And he's got a pretty
Yep.
big stint on that, and that's
Yep.
kind of where it really kind of gets a lot of notice. But he is on a show I do like, and he does a couple episode arc here. I love the show Las Vegas.
Yeah, it was an interesting show. That was
Josh,
NBC, I think, wasn't it?
Josh Duhamel and James Caan and all those guys.
Yep.
Love
Yep.
that. Love that
Yep.
show. And I've seen every episode of that. He's great on that. Of course, he's in X-Men: The Last Stand.
Yep.
As Multiple Man. And that's where he's kind of starting to get into his big. He's starting to kind of make the jump to movies a little bit. He's in Wedding Wars, Open Water 2, Marley and Me. He's in that. He's great.
Gut wrencher.
Gut wrencher. He's very good in a one of these ensemble movies called Valentine's Day, where he plays like a football player. He's good in that.
Yeah.
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 He's in Burlesque. He's quite good in that. He's in The Fixer, which was a miniseries.
Yep.
Of course, The Last Ship, which is a classic, great show. And he's in Grey's Anatomy, which again, he's McSteamy. He's Dr. Mark Sloan. I mean, it's a classic role. It's his bread and butter. Like it's huge. It's a huge one for him. It kind of launched him into a totally different stratosphere. Now he's in Bad Boys Ride or Die as the lead villain, which I thought he was really. I thought he was really
He's
good in.
great. No, he's
And
great.
one of the last things, he's in the TV series called Countdown.
Yeah, I liked Countdown.
Yeah, and he's also in a TV series that, listen, if you're an adult male and you haven't watched the show Euphoria yet, you got to wonder what's happening with your life. You got to figure out what's going on, man, because it's got Sydney Sweeney, it's
Right.
got Zendaya. They're all
It's
new.
stacked. Yeah, it's
You know,
all stacked. The
it's
whole
just
thing is stacked.
ask, get off your couch or get back onto your couch, however you want to do it, and watch Euphoria. It's a
Yeah.
it's a great show. So I don't know how people have to turn on their televisions or how they have to turn on. You know, some people got remote control. Some people have to get up off their couch and turn stuff on. So that's why we mentioned it. But Eric Dane, man, good. I actually worked with his wife, back in 2006. Oh, actually, yeah, 2006. I worked with his wife, Rebecca Gayheart.
Oh, I didn't know that's who he was married to. I love her.
He was married to Rebecca Gayheart. I did a a Lifetime movie. Well, it came out. It was supposed to be a series. It's a pilot. We did a pilot for what should have been a series called Scarlet, and Rebecca Gayheart is in that. She's the lead. She was cool. She's fine,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, and they were married at the time. So I think he even popped to town at one point, but I don't think he ever came. I don't think he ever came to set. So
Yeah.
I never saw him on set. I was kind of busy. But yeah, there it is. Eric Dane,
Eric Dane. Yeah, he was solid, dude.
solid actor, absolutely. And then of course, a few days later, uh, Robert Carradine passes away,
Yep. Yep.
and most of you are going to know him from obviously Revenge of the Nerds,
Yeah.
which is
Classic.
he's going to do 4 of those films. So to say that was his bread and butter is pretty true. I, however, like him from a couple other things. I like a movie that came out, and this is kind of the movie that's going to set the tone for what is the modern day Western. It's a movie called The Long Riders.
Oh yeah, my uncle was in that.
Your uncle's in that,
Yeah.
and 1980 Long Riders, directed by Walter Hill, who's brought us 48 Hours and Trespass and all these great films, right? And this is the movie's kind of known for having all these brother groups in it. So because you got like Stacy and James Keach, you got Dennis and Randy Quaid, you got David, Robert, and Keith Carradine
Yeah.
in the movie. So it's known for having these brother groups in it, right? And
Yep.
it's a phenomenal movie. And when I say it kind of set the tempo for the modern day Western, it a lot of the older Westerns were shot at night.
Yep.
And they shot them at night, and they color graded them, and so they've got like the really splashy color, and that's kind of what the old Western looks like, And this is going to be one of the first movies that's going to get shot when it's supposed to get shot, in day,
Right.
on location, and it's going to have a very different look to it than all those old Westerns. And this is a movie that kind of bridges the gap to what we now see, which is like it's before Silverado, it's before Tombstone, it's before Open Range, it's before Wyatt Earp, it's before all the Costner stuff. It's like it's before all those movies, and this movie really does kind of set the pace for that. So Long Riders is one you should definitely watch. He's also in a movie called The Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. Yep.
He plays Slim, and then he's in the TV series as well, playing the same role.
Right.
And so, I would highly recommend those two for him as well. And then, of course, he plays Lizzie McGuire's father.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I would check out all. What's that?
No, that was just a noise.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he does all that, and and of course, man, Revenge of the Nerds. Look, I mean, I grew up with that movie.
Yep.
I don't know what I don't know what year I watched it in because I wasn't alive when it came out in theory.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yes. I'll go. Circle gets a square. I'll go with
Right.
it.
Right. So in theory, I wasn't alive when it came out, but I saw it in the '80s. If that makes any sense.
Sure. Sure.
So there you go.
Yeah, it's a classic. I mean that's clearly like where he stood out on that side of it. But again, to your point, like his earlier Western stuff is probably where you see the bulk of his shine, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I love that stuff, and he's also in an episode of the TV series The Hitchhiker,
Oh yeah.
which I think is great. Um, Again, man, another guy who could play like these like kind of quirky roles. He plays himself in the movie The Player, which we talked about.
Yep.
Um, and stuff like that, man. He's just got a lot of that kind of stuff, and he's another one who kind of did movies and TV, and he pops on. Does it, well. One thing that's kind of, and I would add, you should probably go back and watch this. Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. He goes
Yep.
off a couple episodes on that as
Yep.
well. So he's with his
Yep.
bro, and then he's in Escape from L.A., which is a great film.
Yeah, it's fun.
He's good at that as well. So then and after that, a lot of TV, a lot of movies. He's in Nash Bridges, which is a show my grandfather and I used to watch together. So
Yeah.
that's another good one. But the guy's just got tons of credits, man. Anything else that jumps off the Robert Carradine catalog for you?
No, that was the majority of it. You hit all the high notes for me.
So I mean, again, well, he is also, and I in modern in the like talk about the modern westerns. He's in Django Unchained as well. He's a
Yeah. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. Yeah.
great. I kind of forgot about that for a second, but he's great in that. That was kind of like one of his more notable later roles. Um, and then he's got some posthumous stuff that's coming out that I can't really comment on too much. So we'll see what comes out with that he still had to do. Uh, so again, another like brutal week or two, and
Yeah.
so we'll hope that for the next episode that we don't have a repeat. Hopefully,
Yeah, it's been one of those scenarios of 2026 throwing punches early. Hopefully that tires it out and it won't throw any more punches our way, and we can make it through this year, a little more unscathed as human beings. But it is what it is, right? I mean, things happen, unfortunately.
it is.
Another is what it is was teased at the top of the show, and that's going to be the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, in full transparency and fairness, folks, I gave up on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a while back, so I have not paid attention to it. I trust. This is where I wish we had an ad. I trust, and I would try and find a segue to sneak in Pluto TV or what's the other one that they run all the time? That Greens company, Vital Green, whatever it is. But no, I trust Tony to help inform me. So what you're going to experience is live reaction to the 20. Is it 26? I guess it is 2026.
This is the 2026 group of
class. Yeah, nominees. Sorry, not even the class.
Nominees,
the nominees.
They've not voted on who's getting in yet.
Okay.
There's just a list of nominees. There's 17 of them, and so I'm just going to name them off, and you give me your honest feedback, yes or no, whatever you want to say about him, about that
Sure.
artist. And but you give me a yes or no. Tell me if you think they belong. Listen, the only criteria to getting into this thing, this is why everyone's given up on it, right? Because the only criteria to getting into this thing is that your first commercial album, EP, record, whatever it was that you released, it had to be 25 years ago. It had to be at least 25 years back.
Oh Lord.
This just makes it very much a dogfight to figure out who should get in, because everyone's got different tastes in music. One thing I want to mention,
Okay.
and I constantly have to give this history lesson to a lot of people when we talk about this. When they hear the words rock and roll, they immediately think it's a band with a bunch of guitars and drums, and
Right.
you're singing very loudly, and that's all they think of. It's got to be that kind of music. That's what it's got to be. Rock and roll is a blend of several different genres.
I agree.
So the rap people and the hip hop artists and the R&B artists and all those and the easy listening art, they all belong in the same group. They all belong in here.
No, I can't. I can't go. I'm not anti-rap. I love rap music.
I get it.
R&B, yes. R&B, yes, because rhythm and blues gave us birth. But I understand your point. But why not just call it the American Music Hall of Fame?
They could do that. They didn't when they started it, and that's the problem.
Right.
Right.
That's the problem.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. So they didn't do that at the start of it, and that's the problem. Okay, you're right. That would make more sense. That would make more sense. Although, you can't just call it American, because there's a lot of, bands from other countries that are in here. So
Right.
that throws us off too. I come up with different titles.
Well, I mean,
But
yeah, we could just call it the Music Hall of Fame and just be done with it. But you got the Football Hall of Fame, but outside of the United States, football is soccer.
right, but because of where it's located.
See, that's where this is. This is in Cleveland.
It is in Cleveland. It is in Cleveland, but we have a lot of like British bands that are in it and stuff like that. So it's not just American music. That calling it American music is kind of an odd. Trust me, man. There'd be people out there to be like, "No, they're not an American band." Trust me, it's going to
No,
happen.
I get it. I get it. I get it. I get
2002.
it. All right.
We know that's
Give
coming.
me this list.
All
I
right.
already know it's coming. It's our 250th birthday.
So first on the list, the Black Crowes.
Yeah, 100% yes.
I'd agree with you. Number 2, Jeff Buckley.
Oh, wow. I'm a little shocked that he wasn't already in. Yes.
I would say that he should be in. Now, the problem is sometimes the criteria for this,
Yeah, I understand.
because he released one album. You know what I'm saying? So, but then
But how much impact that album has had is tremendous.
that's the thing. The criteria is influence and impact.
Yeah.
So you have to try to measure that somehow, right? And that's where we get into
Right.
trouble. Is
Right.
that a lot of people don't understand what these artists have meant to other artists, because they're not
Right.
up. Not everyone's up on this crap. So it is what it is. But I would say Jeff Buckley's a shoo-in. He's got arguably the one of the top 30 albums of all time.
Oh, easily.
So
Easily.
one of the greatest albums to ever be released. So come on. Number 3, Mariah Carey.
No. Why? No. Absolutely not. No. Get her out.
She's got a lot of hits. What's the
Doesn't
problem?
matter. She's pop. She's so pop, dude. She's too pop for that situation. She's not R&B. She's not. She's straight pop. No, she's out. No, get her gone. No. Mm-mm.
This is where we start having problems.
I can see it coming.
So no, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. Like, if you think that, that's fine. That's your opinion on it. But this is why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is so polarized, is because there's no true set of criteria for how you get in. That's
Right.
just being around a long time. You know.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this: if there was the Pop Music Hall of Fame, we would know, we would accept Michael Jackson, Madonna, right?
Right.
Would you accept Ronnie James Dio?
Well, so the problem with that is like there's a pop music generally puts you on the Billboard charts,
It's popular, and he was popular. Dio had some
but it
hits.
never charted.
He didn't chart with Okay, what about Pearl Jam?
They would put they would be on the list in
See,
theory.
they shouldn't be on the list now.
I mean, they would
Now,
be on the. They have charted.
but pop is also a genre. It's also a genre,
It,
and pop is
it's a genre, but that's the thing. Rock and roll music incorporates all these different genres. That's if you go back to the history of it, and we don't have the time to go through this, but trust me, I've studied this relentlessly. If you go back through the history of rock and roll music, it incorporates everything. That's why we had Elvis, and Elvis was doing all kinds of different music.
100% all R&B,
Right.
country, gospel. I'm not arguing any of those.
All those artists, like off of Sun Recordings and stuff, rockabilly, rock and roll. We when you get to Bill Haley and the Comets and all that stuff is influential, and jazz and everything. It's all infused. It's all infused. And so this is where some of these artists have to get in. So I would say yes to Mariah Carey because she's got tons of
Oh,
hits.
yeah,
And
but that's a predication. It's a popularity contest, though.
I understand that, but that's the criteria we've been given. That's the problem. It's
No, I agree.
the issue is in the criteria.
I
So no,
agree.
I think you'll agree should be in. Phil Collins.
1,000,000%.
He's already in for Genesis, but he should be in
Yeah,
for solo stuff too. I,
100%.
I was telling a friend of this. I was on the phone with a friend of mine the other day when this list came out. And I said, Phil Collins is without, I mean, it's almost insulting that he's not in, right?
Correct.
Because
Correct.
when you lived in the 80s and 90s, there's not a chance, there's no chance that you turned on the radio and within 30 minutes heard a Phil Collins song. You had to.
Yep.
It's no doubt he was everywhere. He's
Yep.
one of the most popular artists of all time. It's not even up for debate. And I got off that phone call. I turned up my radio, and I'm not kidding you. Phil Collins was on the radio.
There you go.
2026.
I'm with you.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's all timer.
Melissa Etheridge.
You mean my editor?
Yes, your editor.
Sorry.
Rock and Roll
We
Hall.
have a guy. We have a guy that works with us. His name is Jeff Etheridge, and we call him Melissa Etheridge. Yeah, I would give it to her. I'd give it to her because again, even if I take your criteria rules of what we have, not yours, but the ones that exist,
Right.
and then I apply my own mechanic to it that I want it to be non-pop, although she was popular, her music still has a rock and roll element of the classic definition. There's country vibes, there's old R&B elements. Yeah, 100% Melissa Etheridge.
Oh, love it. I agree. Lauryn Hill.
Oh, now this one's interesting.
Now you
So
gotta,
I would say,
this is important
yep,
to understand. You cannot include her Fuji stuff because that's separate. She's in a group there.
you're right.
She's by
But
herself.
even,
Why
but
Phil,
her,
it's the reason for Phil
yeah,
Collins.
but I get it. Her solo stuff, though, I'm not a big fan of Lauryn Hill, just because I don't like more modern R&B. I like classic R&B, but like her solo stuff does lean more towards R&B. So in that same argument of criteria, I could see her getting in for that reason more so than Mariah Carey, that's been 99% pop. Lauryn Hill has had like R&B elements throughout her entire push.
I think I'd rather see Lauryn Hill in instead of Mariah Carey,
Same.
just because I kind of like her more.
Same. I'm the same way.
But I get why Mariah Carey would be there. Although her lip syncing, she's been caught multiple times for it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a Milli Vanilli thing for me,
Yeah.
and Milli Vanilli up for a lot of awards these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're getting into this, so I'm just telling you. Uh, this next one, you're gonna even be like, why are we even debating it? Billy Idol.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, that's easy.
Why is Billy Idol in the
Easy.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I have no idea.
How is that
He's a
even possible?
classic. He's
So
a classic.
the one thing they're gonna say is like one of his big hits was Moni Moni, like that was a hit that came out, like, but he had 100 other hits before that.
Yep. Yep.
But that was a song that he didn't write. So they start looking at stuff like that, and they're like, well, he didn't write the song. They didn't write the song, and it's like, well, it doesn't matter. It's Billy freaking Idol.
Yeah. I mean, White Wedding alone is a classic.
This next one's interesting. In Excess.
Yeah, I would, because here's my reason why. For NXS, if you go to when they were in their, I don't know if they had any 70s run, but their heyday in the 80s, rock and roll was very much was about experimenting with electronic stuff, which is part of what Genesis did. We were talking about, well, it's not New Order. We were talking about the song Blue Monday earlier, but New Order was the same kind of thing. These were bands that were experimenting with electronic stuff inside of rock and roll. So 100% in excess. Yes.
I would say In Excess should be in. I mean, obviously they haven't had the same influence over the year. Like, they're not around really now. So it's, they've obviously Michael Hutchins passed away, and they had a different singer and everything else. But In Excess, man, is like, dude, they were massive in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
They were massive in the 80s. If nothing else, one album, they had like six massive hits off that one album.
Right.
I mean, it's just, that in itself should get you there. I mean, but it doesn't. But Jeff Buckley is there for a lot of the same reason. In Excess is pretty close. I would say they should be. Iron Maiden.
Yeah, 1,000,000 times over. Yes. One of the most influential metals of all time. Metal bands.
Will be one of the headlining acts at Louder Than Life this year.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
Iron Maiden, come on, Derek. That's a no brainer. Yeah. That should be a no brainer.
Yep.
And they don't have a ton, but they're so influential to that genre of music that you don't have to have a ton of hits. They have 1 billion albums out. And not only that, but their cover art is legendary.
Yeah.
It's legendary.
Yep. Yep.
Joy Division, New Order.
Well, yes, I just said it. I just said it moments ago. But they split them? They split them as Joy Division, New Order?
Together, because they're basically the same band.
Ian Curtis, lead singer of Joy Division, was not in New Order. And I would argue that... now, here's my protest to that.
I know. I protest, but this is how they're going in.
I get it, but it's bullshit, because at the end of the day, New Order is a completely different band sonically than anything Joy Division ever did. Radio free transmission.
It's basically the same band, minus obviously minus
Ian Curtis.
That's the way it's going to be. But yes, New Edition.
The wait, which new, like the pop band New Edition?
As in like Bobby Brown and Belle Biv DeVoe and
no, negative.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You can go back. This is going to be one of those bands. I don't think they'll end up getting in, at least not this year. I do think they can be in because their music. So they come out in the late 70s, early 80s, and they bridge the gap from like kind of like the Motown stuff to what we're eventually going to have with like a lot of the boy band type artists. They're very
that's a good point.
And once they break in the 80s out of Massachusetts, bands like New Kids on the Block, groups like New Kids on the Block and stuff like that. I mean, you can say whatever you want to, but without New Edition, none of that comes about.
No, it's a fair point. It's a fair point.
And I would quantify. I mean, so if you listen to their entire catalog, yeah, they got a lot of pop stuff, but there's a lot of R&B in there too. And
No, it's a fair point.
what I would have to say, and of course, obviously, if you put their solo stuff together with it, but it's not, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you did, they're easily in because you have Bobby Brown's catalog, you'd have Belle Biv DeVoe, and you'd have Ralph Tresvant and Johnny Gill, and all those guys had solo releases,
Yeah. Yeah.
but in other groups, and so I would say New Division, New Division too, but New Edition is in for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll strongly consider.
Oasis.
I mean, I have to say yes, but I don't like those guys. I just don't like them. I
So
don't like them. They
just,
don't like each other.
they don't like each other. They're unlikable. Nobody likes
Ugh.
them. Yeah,
But they made a big bang. If you go back to that era when it was in the UK especially, so this defeats my America thing, and we already had NXS in there, Australian, I believe. But if we go back to it, I mean, the biggest thing that they did, and it was kind of popular in our circle of friends, but was that time period where Blur was one of the bands coming out of the UK, and Oasis was the other, and they're at war with each other over record sales. And I think Blur ends up winning that battle in the UK and claiming the championship because of song number 2, which was one of the best rock songs ever made. So
that's good. I mean, I don't like Oasis, but you know, it is what it
yeah, I
is.
gotta let them. I gotta keep them in there just because they are, by my definitions, they fit my standards. I
Pink.
don't like them.
Pink is the next artist.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the problem. Now Pink is the biggest problem of Pink actually has
A lot of rock music.
a lot of rock music. So I weirdly have to say yes to it, even though she's got a lot of pop. But Pink does have quite a bit of rock, almost punk. She almost has like some bubblegum pop punk type stuff. So yeah, Pink. Unfortunately, she shouldn't get it, but she's allowed.
Sade.
Yeah, Sade 100% simply for the R&B vibes because it goes way. That's just straight old school R&B.
Very influential.
Yeah, you can't get around it.
Shakira.
No.
I'd like to keep Shakira out for right now.
She does not. No, not now. She needs to put out some music that doesn't sound like a Disney soundtrack, and then we'll have a conversation.
Luther Vandross.
Yeah, 100%. That's dude, R&B legend. Yes, 100%. Not without question. Easy yes. Easy yes.
Okay. You know how I feel about these guys. Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh man. So if we were to say, so here's how I'm going to quantify it. If we were to say that rock and roll, as to your point, is multi-genre, but also if we were to simply spin it and say rock and roll, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is more about attitude. Of this list so far, there is no one more rock and roll than the Wu-Tang Clan.
I 100% agree with that.
I mean, if that's the easier way to do it, if they said that, you got to have an album that's 25 years old and you got to embody the vibe of rock and roll, then we would lose some players. We would lose some players, even our arguments for some R&B players because some of them are just so chill. But there's no way in heck you cannot. You have to bring the Wu-Tang Clan, and plus there's just nobody to with. Sorry, I didn't want to say the word.
I love the Wu-Tang Clan. One of the reasons I side on rap artists getting in is because a lot of them use licks and cuts from rock artists.
I get it.
And so a lot of that those genres mix really well.
Yeah.
We've crossbreed so much with hip hop and rock, and just like with Judgment Night and stuff like that. It's just like we've done that so often now that I just think it all comes together. So Wu-Tang would be in for me. The key here is we have more than 5 to 7 artists that we've said yes to, and they're going to induct anywhere from 5 to 7 artists. It's going to be tough.
Right.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be interesting.
So again, without any real criteria to judge it, it's not like in baseball where it's like if you stayed off the steroids and you got 3,000 hits or 500 home runs, you're pretty much a shoo-in. You know what I mean?
Well, we just went through. We just in my industry now of advertising, we just had our Addy Awards, the advertising awards, and we just went through that. There's no rules that you can see.
Right.
They have judges, and then
it.
at the award ceremony, the judges are like, "Okay, here's who won, and here's my favorite person." And one of the ladies, this is true story. This is my prime example of this, and I'm not slamming anything. It's February. It's Black History Month. They give an award called the Mosaic Award, which is for underrepresented groups, for basically diversity, equity, and inclusion groups. That's what it's for.
Right.
Sitting next to me is my dear friend AJ, very talented black filmmaker, shot this amazing tourism video, like an ad, because again, it's all advertising, for visiting the city as a black family and showing all the different black history, because we have the Clotilda, the last slave ship. There's a lot of black history that comes out of here.
Sure.
What won was a sorority girl video of all white girls in their only white girl sorority.
What?
That's what won. Yeah, 100%. Mosaic Award. And the judge said, I don't know who shot it. I'm sure a white person. The judge said, gave her rationale, which was stupid, and then said, also, I'm a, whatever the sorority was. I don't know. But she said, I'm a member. So they got that video because of her bias. So my problem with any of these awards, like Hall of Fames and all of these things, is, to your point, this is the most valid part I can make. Because there is no criteria at the end of the day, the voting committee or whoever they have that makes this decision, you could have somebody who's offended at Iron Maiden's artwork. They're not going to win that battle because Iron Maiden is you're going to have somebody who's offended by the Wu-Tang Clan.
Of course. There's plenty of people who are offended by the Wu-Tang Clan.
Right. But that's also what makes it rock and roll.
Right.
Is the fact that there was an edge involved. So there's a historical side, there's all these things, but without any level of criteria of understanding it, you can't, you're just, these judges just get to make these choices, much like here it is, the Black History Month, and you're giving a Mosaic Award to a white girl sorority when a video just literally moments before was shown that won an award. It won a gold for being this great advertising piece. Yeah.
That's why I don't really like award shows and or Hall of Fames. Not really a big fan of them, but I'm always interested in this because I'm a huge music fan, so I kind of like to look at these lists, and
yeah, for sure.
And everyone fights over them. It's kind of funny, but
it is funny.
Oh well.
Okay, well, that's our take. What's yours? Throw it in the comments. You can follow us on all the social media channels we have out there. There's quite a few of them, but our most active for our generation apparently is on Facebook, and you can find us over there. You can also hit us up. Give us some likes and such in the old podcast things. That definitely benefits. And if you're watching on YouTube, we read the comments there too, so feel free to join in the conversation.
Yeah.
Tony, any last words to close us out?
Here's what I would say. We do get comments from people, and they do send us some messages on our socials, but I get a lot of comments from people that I know that send them directly to me in my text. And I would ask you to please send them to our socials instead so we can all comment on them. Because if you send them to me directly, just say, great show, I love this, blah, 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 blah. That's it. I'm the one who reads it, and that's all there is to it. You know?
Right.
And then there's nothing else that happens. So if you liked our show, or if you want to comment on the Hall of Fame stuff or whatever, send it to our socials. There's plenty of spots to comment. I throw all the links up. You can put it right into the link of that particular episode, and then that way people can comment on it and like their comments or whatever. And that's what social media is for. So
right, arguing with your friends.
That's it.
All right, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Tony?